Gauthier. I'm CEO and co-founder of InternsMe. We're an organization and website that helps connect young people, namely university students and recent graduates, to internship, traineeship, and graduate job opportunities. The job hunting process is one that often leaves us with feelings of despair, anxiety, depression, and out of which occasionally originates a humorous story or two. We've been running InternsMe for long enough now to have aggregated enough interesting data, trends, and insight to share with you today. But before I do any of that, allow me to start with one of my humorous stories. I was 21 years old, and I was in London studying pharmacy. Now, this was a course of study recommended, or rather bestowed upon me, by those who had my best interests at heart. Friends and family who assured me that studying pharmacy would lead me onwards to a career brimming full of prosperity, fulfillment, and hopefully wealth. But by the third year of studying pharmacy, I was a little bit disillusioned with the whole thing. And I was very eager to try something else, anything else. I was back here in Dubai for summer vacation, and I started to apply to various industries to try to get some other kinds of work experience. And I did what we all do when we don't know any better. I attached my CV to an email, and I wrote, "Dear Sir/Ma'am, please find attached herewith my CV for your perusal." And I received 0 responses. And now, a credit to the brilliant scientists I was learning from back in London. I decided to adopt a healthy mentality of, if it's not working, change your methodology. And I was pretty desperate at this point as well, so I decided to test the age-old adage. It's not what you know, but who you know. And I thought Emirates would be a pretty cool company to work for. But I knew that I couldn't just attach my CV and send it to them and say, "Please find my CV attached." So I decided to do a little bit of research. I found an article that was posted online where an employee's email address, an employee at Emirates, their email address was stated, and I could see the format of this email address. It was firstname.lastname@emirates.com. But of course, I couldn't just send my CV to anyone. So the next bit of research I had to do was to find the name of a HR manager, right? Someone who's actively involved in the CV screening process. And so I stalked some online networks until I came up with the name of a HR manager at Emirates. And for the purposes of the story, we'll call her Sarah. So I was able to do Sarah's direct email address, and my email went like this. "Dear Sarah, Tim Clark recommended that I send you my CV." Now, none of this was true. I did not know Tim Clark, president of the company. And he most definitely did not ask me to send my CV to Sarah. But in the interest of experimentation and keeping my desperation in mind, it was something that I had to try. A couple of hours later, I got a response. It said, "Dear Mr. Jean, thank you very much for sending your CV in. We're reviewing it and we'll come back to you as quick as we can." And I remember distinctly at this point pulling out my phone. I was amongst friends, and I said, "Yo guys, check this out. I just played the system. I just cracked the code. Watch me get a job at Emirates now. How'd you like me now?" And they got back in touch with me after this as well, twice. They seemed genuinely interested. They were calling me and asking me questions. But ultimately, it fizzled out. And I didn't get a job offer. And I went back to London to resume my studies with my head hung low in defeat. And I was really puzzled. They seemed to buy my story about Tim Clark. They bought my bluff, so why didn't I get a job? Coincidentally, a few months later, my parents were at a dinner party. And they were exchanging business cards with someone who turned out to be the chief medical officer of Emirates. She looked at my father's business card, recognized the surname, and said, "You know what? I think your son's CV came across my desk a few weeks ago." She said, "Yeah, brilliant CV. But, you know, we don't need a pharmacist in Emirates." Okay, so the moral of the story is, don't lie? Or lie better? Or is it something else? How many of us feel that our CVs are an accurate representation of who we really are, what we're capable of? Do they convey our passion and interests? This restrictive medium of paper has been the main way in which we apply for jobs for the last 50 to 100 years. Most jobs posted online nowadays receive between 500 to 1,000 applications. And for young people who are lacking in experience, it becomes a particular problem due to your lack of keywords. Most job sites and HR softwares now work via rather primitive keyword matching algorithms. They're going to scan your CV. They're going to scan the job description and then tally up how many words there are. And based on how many words are matching, they're going to give you a relevancy score for that position. Young graduates with no work experience are at a major disadvantage. Now, of course, some CVs are plain bad. They commit the cardinal sins of having poor formatting, typos, grammatical errors. These ones deserve to end up in the bin. Even if you then manage, though, to get ranked and your CV gets viewed, the average viewing time at first pass from a hiring manager is 7 seconds. Recruiters are busy people. And people, recruiters or not, are experts at passing judgment and jumping to conclusions. So let's leave CVs for a second, talk about cover letters. I was recently sitting with the HR director of one of the Middle East's largest business intelligence firms, and I asked him, what makes an application stand out to you? What do you get excited about? He said it was the cover letter. A personalized cover letter from someone who's able to explain why they're the right fit for the role really excites him and his hiring team. I said, okay, why they're the right fit for the role? What does that look like? He said, it's much simpler than you think. And it's really about connecting the dots between the company culture, what they're known for, and this specific job role. Connecting that back to what you're able to do, either through practical experience, theoretical knowledge, or simply your passion and interests. He said that people who send in personalized cover letters to his firm always get a response. Maybe not an interview request, but at the very least a response. And you've just become human. Now, if you think about it, this truth applies to everything that we know outside of the job hunting world. In a couple of weeks, it's going to be Christmas time, and undoubtedly many of us will be receiving well wishes and season's greetings from around the world, our friends and family around the world, and we're going to feel inclined, no, obliged to respond to those who've taken the time to write a personalized letter to us. The generic mass emailed well wishes, probably not. It then dawned on me that although Emirates probably bought my story about Tim Clark, didn't go through the process of connecting the dots, didn't say why I'd be a good fit or what I'd be a good fit for. So honestly, I can't really blame them for not hiring me. A couple of years ago, the concept of video CVs came about. And this is something that we started to adopt and enforce as well. we were honestly shocked with the results that it brought about. Hiring managers that were previously telling us, you know, young people are just undependable, they're unreliable, they're not serious. We're shocked when they could have their perceptions overcome by the great personality, confidence, and gusto that was displayed by some of the first people that were taking the time to upload video CVs. Over time, we were able to monitor that having a video CV is resulting in a 150% greater chance of being called in for an interview than if you didn't have one. So perhaps video CVs are the key. Not quite, because here's the thing. The best video CVs are in fact video cover letters. They are your personalized Christmas card to a hiring manager who's desperately seeking an application they can get excited about, that they can pull out their mobile phone or turn their laptop screen and say, check this out. We just got an awesome application from a real human being. Real cover letters are one thing. Great video CVs are another. And video CVs that convey your personality, answer the questions of why you're the right person for this role in this company, might just be the key. So for those of us that are still stuck attaching our CVs to emails, writing "Dear Sir/Ma'am," and not getting what we want out of it, I urge you to adopt a scientist mindset. Change your methodology. You'll probably be very pleasantly surprised with the outcome. Thank you very much.